Hello, welcome back to 3D Drawing for Model Railway. In today's episode, I'm going to look at drawing on the engine here and the mounting points, and then we'll work our way through detailing as we go on through the lesson. So the first thing we're going to start with are these mounting points. Now, the outside two are relatively simple because they're on the plan, but the back two, they look like they're mounted to this beam that goes across, but also there's a photo, this one here, which shows a beam that goes longitudinally, which is in line, and that's clearly sitting on that beam. So I'm going to draw, I can't see one on this side, but I'm going to assume there probably is. I'm going to draw two beams that go across, and we can use that to mount the feet of the engine on. So the position of that, if we turn on the plan, you can see the feet are here. Let's turn off that top body. Feet are here and here. So I'm just going to be drawing, initially, I'm going to be drawing a rectangle that goes across on the back of this face to line up with that position there. I'm going to draw it on, let's go on that face, so the inside of this beam here. In fact, let's make sure we've got the right end to start with, that would be helpful. Turn that body back on a minute. So you need the same end as the fuel tank. So yeah, we're at the right end here. So drawing on that beam, I'm going to draw a sketch, and then I'm going to slice through to that beam, turn on the plan so we can see its position. I'm going to draw a rectangle that's going to be in line, so before I do that, I'm going to project on that line and those lines there. So that should all be projected. Get a rectangle, I'm going to line it up roughly in line with where those feet are. So one in that position, define its position there, 0.6, and we'll go for width, we'll go for 0.65, so a little bit smaller there actually. And then we'll do the same here. So 0.65 on the width there, and then we'll do the width from there to there, 2.6. And then we're going to select these three profiles and extrude. I'm going to bring it forward a little bit to start with, tell it to join. Click on OK, then we can see where the edge is. Go back into the plan, edit feature, I'm going to spin that round to that back surface there. And it's joined, so it's joined onto the front plane of this surface. Turn that off so we can see the body, turn the canvas off so we can see what's coming in there. Okay, and then I'm going to mount the feet on top of this. So if we look at the pictures for the feet, they're hollow rectangles with a little beam that goes between the two, and they're slightly bigger than the beam here. So I'm going to start by just drawing on the top surface. I'm going to create a rectangle. I'm going to go slightly bigger than this beam here. Try not to snap to that initially. I don't want it to snap to either that point there. I just want to make sure it is bigger that direction. So I'm going to come, I don't want the blue line, that's it. There we go. So there to there. So it's not constrained at all on anything. I'm going to define the width to the outside edge there. I'm going to go 0.1. I'm going to define the width there to there. It's 0.1 as well. And then we can define, it's slightly wider than this, so we're 0.1 on that. Might as well just make it 0.1 on that one as well. Excuse me. Then if we select all of these profiles in here, and we're going to extrude it upwards. Let's get the plan on. I'm going to come up to that point there. So we're going to go up 0.3 millimeters. Tell that to join. In fact, I'm just going to undo that. I'm going to create that as a new body. New body there. I'm not going to bother hollowing this out because it's going to be such a small hollow. I don't think it's going to be worth it in N-gauge. If you're doing it in 00, maybe. If you want to do that, just use your drawing sketch and then offset tool around that outside, and you can see that if I bring this in, the wall thickness is going to be tiny. If I go 0.1, and then you're not going to see it, so there's not much point there in N-gauge. So we'll go with that as a new body there. Let's undo that sketch so we don't have it, and then we're going to pattern that body, and I'm going to do it in that direction across. We want 2 of them, and then I'm going to drag that across to get it to line up where I need it here. So 3.3 millimeters, I think that's going to be about the correct movement. It's not. It's going to be probably 3.25, I think. Yeah, 3.25 millimeters across. And then on the top of here, I'm just going to draw a rectangle that goes from that corner. And we have to project that point there. So we're back and draw that rectangle to that point. It's snapped on. Select those profiles. I'm going to extrude that vertically. We're at 0.2, so I've got a little bit of thickness there because you don't want it too thin, just collapse on you. Okay, so that's now joined. It's created its own little pattern there. I didn't really want it to do that. It'll be that that's caused the join there. So edit that, and then new body. And then I can join, combine those 3 bodies together so that they're one, and then pattern that body and direction that way. Let's just have that body on to start. Yeah, that's not going to work there going that far across because it'll be intersecting this. So we're going to come back. I'm going to go 3.5 millimeters. Yeah, 3.5 millimeters on that. Okay, so the next one we'll do is these little feet here. I'm not going to go into too much detail on all this lot because I don't think it would show up particularly well anyhow. But if we come on, in fact, if we go back before the pattern, we can draw it on here and then it will pattern across with it. So if we draw a sketch on the top surface, I'm going to find the midpoint of this. So if I project on that, and I'm going to want to draw a line across here, and then I can find the midpoint of that line, and then the midpoint of that, and then intersect there. There you go. So let's go for 0.6, and then we can delete that line there, and define that. So that's 0.4 in that direction, and then 0.4, 0.425 in that direction. Okay, so there's a couple of ways that we could do this now. Because it's a relatively straight fillet, there's not really too much to it. Okay, I'll show you both ways and you can choose whichever way you want. You can come up, if we say 0.2 millimeters, tell that to join, and then you could do 0.1 chamfer on that top edge, and then you can chamfer down like that. Now you can see that's equal distance. We've got 2 distance, so we can bring that one back out. So we've got 0.2 and 0.5. That's one way to achieve that. Okay, you understood that one. That's good. The other option is if we undo that, we've got this circle now. If we finish that sketch, if we create a offset plane from that surface, come up to the 0.2 that we just said, and draw a sketch on that surface here, project on that circle, and then draw an offset circle from there, minus 0.5, which is what we've just done on the chamfer there. And then what you could do is use the loft tool to loft between the large circle and that inner circle. Both of them give you the same effect, so it's completely up to you how you would go about that. Both of them work. It's your choice, but you've got 2 different options there. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to pattern that. Back to pattern, that feature, across. I can't remember what said removed it. 3.25 wasn't it? 3.25. We only need 2 of them. There you go. And then if we skip forwards beyond that pattern, that will automatically take those to the other edge, like we just said. Okay, so the next thing we'd be looking to do is these 2 black L girders here that go across between these 2 support mountains. Now, they would be obviously really too thick to just print an end gauge, so all I'm going to do is just do 2 little rectangles that we can use there to mount that on. So I'm going to create a sketch on the top surface of that foot. I'm going to project on the top surface of that foot as well, and just do a rectangle between the 2, like this. Okay, what I actually could do doing is putting a line between the midpoints of the circles, defining the distance from the edge to the line, so that it's the same, so 0.2 on that side, and again 0.2. That will be because it's trying to coincidence onto this circle, but it's not matching it. Let's just check that. There we go, that's better. Now if I coincidence that to that circle, that will lock in. It's already constrained in it there. Okay. I don't have to do any more constraints other than that. I can then turn that line into a construction so it doesn't then get affected by me selecting to do anything else. Let's come back off, so do that. There we go. Now I can select, holding shift down while I select these profiles, and if we spin this round, it's not even really on the drawing. I'm just going to bring it up. I'm going 0.4 millimeters, I think. And then I'm going to edit. I'm not going to even edit. I'm going to rectangular pattern that feature, that direction, 2 of them, and then it'll be 3.25. It's not joined because it's still separate from the base. That's fine. It's good. That's what I'm after. Okay, now we've got the basic shape of the engine to add in. Okay, so if we look at the engine itself, we've got what looks relatively rectangular, but with bits added on, curved and filleted off the bottom. On this side, you can see this bit overhangs on this the end here, where you've got cut out there, that fillet bit on the end there. See how exactly what I'm talking, got the round section coming out. The only issue is, unfortunately, I don't have a really good photo that shows this angle. It doesn't even show if it comes through all the way. And on this one, you can see it doesn't even look like it's there, but that's probably because this plate's in the way. Okay, so I think what I'm going to do is going to start by just drawing a rectangle, I think, and then we'll cut things and trim things off as we go. Okay, so let's go start with, on that top surface, I'm going to draw a rectangle. I'm going to go from, project that on, draw that rectangle from that corner to that corner. Select the rectangle, and I'm going to extrude that vertically to the top, so it's going to come up 4.3 millimeters. Okay, then I'm going to add the bit on the side here first. So this bit on the end here. So let's spin that, draw a sketch on that surface here. Rectangle from there. Left part there. You won't be able to see it, unfortunately. I'm going to go for, let's go for full width and then 1.6 high. Extrude it out. Now 1.6 isn't far off, it's not bad yet actually. I'm going to extrude it out by 0.6 millimeters. That then left me this square underneath, which I can then cut back into the correct width. I'm going to come in by 0.3. So that will give me this extrusion here of 0.9 millimeters on that. Okay, so the next thing we'll do is add this end on here where the exhaust is. So I'm going to come and draw a sketch on this end profile here. You can see on the picture here, if I turn the bodies off, you've got this part here that we're looking at. So I'm going to draw a rectangle. I'm not worrying about the top height, we've got the height from the other one that we're using. Then I'm going to go for a width of 3 millimeters. And I'm going to come down. I don't want it to be clashing with any of this lot, so I'm going to come slightly above it. I'm going to go for 4.47. Box height 3 by 4.47, and that's slightly above. I'm going to go with that there, and I'm going to extrude that part. Spin this round. I'm going to come out. I'm going to come out about 0.9 millimeters there, I think, and then the exhaust frame would sit around the outside of this part. But I'm going to go with that. I'm just doing the basic fleshing out at the moment. The next thing we'll do is this box on the end here. That is, turn the bodies off again, that's this rectangle here. We'll draw a sketch on that front face. I'm going to select the rectangle. I'm going to go from about this point to this point here. And then we can set dimensions. Okay, so let's go for 0.45 there. And on this side, let's go 0.6. Distance from the base there, we'll go 0.2, and we'll give it a height of 2.9. Okay, extrude that. So if we spin this round, we'll see if it's on the side here. Not really. Actually, that front face is slightly inset from the exhaust, and then that sticks out slightly. So that's the exhaust panel. So we can bring that out. I'm going to go 0.4 on that and tell that to join. Just check our bodies. Yep, we've only got that one separate. Okay, so now I've got that basic shape. I think it's taken about 20 minutes or so to draw this feet and get this drawn up to this point. I think I'm going to finish at this point before we start getting into the details of that, because that's going to probably take another 20 minutes or so. I don't want to make the episode too long. So that's got that, I'll say that quarter pack power on the end there, and we'll come back on the next episode and tidy this up a little bit. Hope you've enjoyed that lesson, and thanks for watching.